Buenos dias, señoras y señores, and welcome to another edition of the SoccerSanchez podcast. As always, I'm just joined by our regular guests, Who Gets Goals 88 and D-Lord the Don. How are we guys doing today?
Great. All good. Good weekend.
Excellent. That's good news. Well, this weekend, the North London derby was played out between Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it didn't disappoint. 2-0 was the result. Spurs overcoming Arsenal at home. Son opened the scoring with an amazing top right-hand corner goal, maybe 30 yards out, I think he was when he curled that in. Followed up by a K.I.N.E.T.I goal in 46 minutes, left-footed shot, catching out a very woeful Arsenal defence and midfield, but we'll talk about that in a minute, discuss the build-up to that goal. Arsenal, of course, always dominant in the Premier League history compared to Spurs, finishing above their North London rivals 21 years in a row. In recent times, in the last decade or so, Spurs are closing that gap. Martin Jol began the revival with Harry Redknapp following suit, getting Spurs into the Champions League and establishing Spurs now as a top 6 side. And then in came Mauricio Pochettino and completely changed the dynamic at White Hart Lane. Tottenham now considered a force in the Premier League, having challenged for the league more than twice in the last 5-6 years. Spurs are considered a team who can challenge for the Premier League, and even more so now that Jose Mourinho has joined the side, and Spurs sitting top of the table as we speak. Liverpool joint on points, Spurs above on goal difference. It was an interesting game. Arsenal with the majority of the possession. We could have predicted that. Spurs have kind of gone for this tactic of low block, aka parking the bus, just setting up very defensively, absorbing the pressure and countering with pace with the likes of Son and Bergwijn and Lucas in the side, along with Harry Kane adopting a new role this season, deep lying kind of false number 9, let's say, getting many assists. I should have actually checked that before the podcast, but this guy's got so many assists, it's unbelievable. Let's start then. So Spurs 2, Arsenal 0. Stuart, what did you think of the performance of Arsenal? Because it was a very dominant display in the sense that they had the ball possession. Chance creation was recorded, but I think this is all down to crosses, this new tactic that Arteta seems to have gone with recently. What did you think of Arsenal, first of all, Stuart, in that game?
Yeah, I mean, they've completely abandoned their tiki-taka philosophy they had under Wenger. I mean, there's already a decline under Unai Emery, but now it's just completely gone out of the window. And now, as you said, they resorted to crossing the ball, and you had pundits on Sky Sports today, like Jamie Redknapp, applauding them almost, saying in the second half, they're playing better this half. Just because they had the ball a bit more in the second half doesn't mean they were playing better. It's just that Spurs were happy to let them have the ball. And they knew that they could contend with their crosses, and they had the likes of Eric Dyer and the other centre back just able to head the ball away easily, and they played right into Spurs' strengths. And yeah, I'm not sure what's happened in terms of playing the ball through the middle. They were just really scared about doing that, and now just having the ball and getting it to the wings and trying to cross it there seems to be their style of football. And that suited Spurs to the T because they were able to break away quickly. And that's what led to, I think, the second goal. And you're just seeing Arsenal's football philosophy just go out the window now. And I'm not sure how they get it back. I mean, perhaps the bring back Ozil crowd are going to be even more fervent now. Now that they're completely there's no footballing philosophy behind them. I'd like to see Ozil come back, to be honest. I know our other guest, Lay, he's always really vocal with having Ozil back. And I think there's a case now to be made to forget what's happened in the past and try to just do something new, because right now what they're doing isn't really working. Aubameyang isn't playing well. Lacazette isn't playing well. You can see that on the pitch. It improved slightly with Ceballos when he came on. You can see a bit more of a passing move, but it still wasn't good enough. And they might win the games against the lower half opposition, but against the likes of United or Chelsea, they're not going to win a game like that. So that's just my take on Arsenal right now.
It is strange. I think that when I think we spoke about this before as well. When Arteta came into Arsenal, everyone expected, like you said, the tiki-taka football. Obviously, working under Guardiola. Why do you think that he isn't doing that at Arsenal? Do you think it's because of the quality of the players that that philosophy isn't adopted at the Emirates?
I just don't think he has the players, right? I mean, the Ceballos, but yeah, I mean, he saw glimpses of him last season doing that, and yeah, that's why they've got him again this season. But I just don't see the players being there to have that tiki-taka philosophy. Um, yeah, I mean, there's promising players like Saka. Just he looks really good.
He was probably their best player. D Lord, what do you think about the performance? I mean, again, you expect Arsenal to play a different style of football. The crosses from the sides, it's very 90s. They don't really have a target man as such. Aubameyang has, I think I've got it written down here. He's got 56 goals, 56 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
3 with his head. What's the point of crossing it?
I think it's because they fell into the game plan of Mourinho. What Mourinho did.
But wait, bear in mind that they've been doing this a few games now.
True. You look at the team, and I think maybe they just get scared of people in the middle of the park for some reason. I just don't know. I just don't know what it is. But I'm sure when they come up against Spurs, you're seeing Sissoko, who's got bundles of energy, and you got Højbjerg, who's an absolute unit. So it's like they're thinking, oh gosh, we ain't gonna get past these two. So we're forced to play it down the wing. And then that falls into Spurs' hands because you got Diane out the way there. I'm sorry, how do you pronounce his name? eating up all the headers. So you look at the team, you look at Arsenal, and I know Stuart said they abandoned the tiki-taka because they don't have the players. Do you really believe? I mean, it's a philosophy, right? So it's a style of play. You look at Leeds. Leeds have very good players, but they play a certain way. You see the football, you enjoy the football. So you've got someone like Arteta who's been under Pep, seeing that style of play. He can implement that into the. I see no reason why he can't implement that into the Arsenal team. The way they're playing now, when you got who is it? Playing Lacazette playing number 10. You got Willian and Saka all over the place. I just don't understand it. But going back to the point, I think they got scared of Spurs through the middle and just decided, we're just gonna be whipping it across it. And that doesn't even make any sense because you got Aubameyang. He's not really great in the air, is he? He's better off. Exactly, he's a finisher, But in the air,
and he had a couple of chances in the box from crosses on the side and over the bar.
It didn't do anything. Like they're just so blunt right now. It's just I just don't know where or what they're trying to do. You see a style of play and you be like, okay, I can see what's happening. But with Arsenal, I look at them and they don't even entertain you how they used to entertain, and you look at the players, they've got good players. Obviously, it's not like a lot of world-class players, but you just don't know where they're heading right now. And
it felt like a very tactical game, and I don't know. Do you think obviously Mourinho's been more experienced, done one over Arteta today, but do you think Arteta's guilty for not adapting to the way his team played? They had all the possession the second half. There was no changes in the way they were playing.
You said they have all the possession, but I genuinely felt that Mourinho just allowed them to have the possession because he knows, he can contain anything that they throw at him. He can contain them. Like he could have, released the handbrakes and go toe to toe. And I still feel Spurs would have washed the floor with them because Spurs right now are, they're just better. They're just better. You look man for man, you would say Spurs genuinely have the better players. All Arsenal's experienced players are like way over the other side of 30, and the rest of them are like extremely young with no experience. But with that Spurs team, they've been together for quite a while, and they're just, if Mourinho really released the handbrakes, I don't think it would have made a difference. I think Spurs have still been too strong for Arsenal. So They're in a weird space right now, so I don't know. They definitely need a lot of investing.
I don't get why Arteta didn't change things up, and it was so obvious that it wasn't working. There's like doesn't seem to be like a plan B in place for Arteta to resort to.
That's what I'm saying. It seemed like the same tactic, the same old going down the wings, cross it in. Tierney, you got Saka as well. Who was on the right hand side? Willian
on the right. Like, but you to change it, you look at the bench and you say, okay, who could they have brought on, or who would have come on to kind of like made that difference? I can't really see anybody on there that, you know, Nketiah is probably the most, you know, threatening striker, you know, apart from Aubameyang, who's just gone off the boil after signing the contract, you know. So when you're relying on someone like an Nketiah, then you know you're in a dark place. Like, there's no one really they could have brought on. I mean, they got Reece Nelson, but again, he's also young and experienced. Who you gonna take? And you're only gonna take him and put him on the wing, and then still trying to put in crosses or whatever to nobody. You know, they just don't seem to have a plan B, and they're in a weird space. So
that lack of plan B though must be down to the fact that they have as you said, they just have a weak squad, wouldn't you say, Stuart?
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with everything Dennis just said now. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you anyone that stands out in that bench. I mean, even Nketiah, I mean, I don't know. I've not seen too much of him. He looks tricky, you know, when he comes on, he does cause a problem, but
he's good. He's good.
Yeah. There's no one else I can see that will change things for Arsenal. So either Arteta changes something with the team and gets them playing a different way, or he's going to have to wait till January to change things up and buy a few players. But then who's going to want to come to Arsenal right now with the way they're playing and how they're struggling in the league? I mean, right now they're closer to the relegation zone than the top four, I think. So,
which then begs the question is the whole situation with Ozil. You're not in a position where you can be making that type of call where you're saying a player of that ilk is not playing football because of footballing reasons, whatever that footballing reasons is. I don't know.
Are they? I don't know. Now if they don't play Ozil now, it's definitely not footballing reasons. There's got to be something else because right now I think the case Arsenal's crying out for Ozil right now. Just up. So he doesn't bring him on now at the time of the need, which it is now. Now I think they desperately need someone to change things up. Ozil will be like a fresh new sign in the season. So if he doesn't bring him on now, he's never going to play him. And it just means that he has to happen behind the scenes that we don't know.
But what's the rules about that, though? He's not in the 25-man squad. Can he actually be brought in now, or do you have to wait till like a January to re-register? Does anyone know?
I think he might have to wait till January. And that's just crazy to me. Like, what is the point of, you know, that just says to me that, okay, you're trying to sell him. You know, if he's not in the squad, he's fit. He's not in the squad and he's not in the registered squad.
Well, who's going to want to buy him though with 6 months left in his contract? He's only got 6 months left, right?
I don't even know. I haven't been even following his contract, but I'm guessing if you're saying 6 months, then probably that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, 6 months.
You know.
Yeah,
6 months. Yeah.
He's going to want to buy him. They'll rather just wait until his contract finishes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because if you look at like the United situation with Paul Pogba, it was clear Paul Pogba wanted to leave. I don't know what Ozil's situation is, but you're having these two big name stars, you know, not really, you know, playing well or whatever. One of them's completely out of the team. Pogba clearly wanted to leave, and he was injured for quite a whole season. But Ole was like, you know what, I still need you to kind of like get this team going to a certain place before you can hand over the reins to somebody. That's what really Arsenal should have done with Ozil. Like you can't just isolate somebody like that, especially when you're playing a striker in a number 10 role. It's like you try to do what Jose Mourinho is doing with Harry Kane, but you're doing it with Lacazette, and it's just clearly not working. But you've got somebody who's actually fitted to that system or that role, not even in the team for whatever reason whatsoever. It's like you're cutting your nose to spite your face. Now you're 15th in the league, and your team is just nosediving. So I just don't see what they're how they're going to resolve the situation.
Do you think a number 10 needs to be able to track back in the modern game, or do you think there's a case for the number 10 just having that free roll and not necessarily getting involved as much in the defensive game?
I think in this day and age, you need to do both, right? You do need to do both. Everybody's getting, everybody's fitter. You got to run like 24/7, but you still have to tailor your team, to if you got a key player, like let's say Ozil now, like you brought in a Thomas Partey who's got legs on him. I mean, he's just injured, but you've got Thomas Partey who's got legs on him, and then you got Elneny who's also got legs on him. So you can afford to play Ozil, and you can afford to say, you just focus on doing what you're best at, and these lot will do the dirty work, and then you can have the other guys alongside him. Yeah. I don't understand why they're not doing that. You got a Partey, you got Elneny, and then you got a Lacazette as a number 10 who's ineffective there. You might have a good game here or there, but clearly long term that's not right, and it's causing someone like Aubameyang to suffer because he's just not receiving any decent chances, and when he does get a chance, it's like he's got a battle for it, and he's eating his confidence, and you can see it now. I can't remember the last time he scored. I think it was a penalty against Manchester United. Like it's outfield goal. I don't know, but they're lacking goals. They're really, really struggling for goals right now, and it's crazy.
I mean, I couldn't see any Arsenal goals today how they were playing. I just did not know how they were going to score.
Because you knew it was the loss. You knew it was a loss.
Yeah, I mean, there were some occasions when they played it. They actually got behind Spurs once, and they almost scored. But that was only once. And I think playing on the ground is the way that Arsenal plays, right? And I just don't know. Yeah, I think perhaps Højbjerg had a massive game.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
He was all over the place, and I think that's the reason why perhaps Arsenal didn't play through the middle, because Højbjerg would just kind of sweep, winning all the second balls and just sweeping up.
Sissoko as well. Both of them they had a great game yesterday. I don't know if I tweeted it, but I said Sissoko was having an excellent game, and Højbjerg as well. Just not even letting the Arsenal team breathe. And you say that okay, second half Arsenal did a bit better. They were controlling the game, whatever. But I feel like Spurs allowed them to do that, and I felt if they had got a goal back, Spurs could have just gone up another level.
Yeah, definitely.
And bring on someone like Gareth Bale from the bench, and who's Arsenal bringing from the bench? Like it's. Yeah, it's right now. It's levels, and I know Sanchez is smart. Sanchez is happy right now. Bringing Willock, yeah. Oh man.
Listen, just going back on what you said there, Dennis, about how Arsenal should concentrate on getting some two enforcers basically in the midfield to kind of allow Ozil to do his thing. I think when you mentioned Elneny there, I think Granit Xhaka has kind of been given that role ahead of him. I think he's favoured by Arteta, but I thought he had a bit of a poor game. He committed so many fouls. I don't know how he got away with one yellow card today, I'll be honest with you, but obviously as me being biased. Three fouls on K.I.N.E.T.I. in the first half, all from behind and no yellow card. That's mad. Anyway, but the mad thing is that we're all talking about Ozil, and Sky Sports at half time, Souness said, they don't have anyone to thread the ball through, and it's like you got someone like Mesut Ozil who's not in the part of the 25-man squad. They've got the guy there. I don't know what is going on in the background. We kind of briefly touched on it last time we were on, but it is mad that someone as talented as Ozil is not anywhere near the team, not even in the squad. So
it's kind of become like a Voldemort kind of guy, the guy you can't talk about.
Yeah,
it is strange, but I think you're right. Someone like Ozil will probably help unlock the key against teams such as
clearly
like Spurs who defended. Let's not pretend that there's no other teams that play in that style of play, like defending the whole game and hoping for a counter. So they do need someone creative. Ozil will probably be the best option at the moment. They've got 6 months left of his contract. They're paying him, I don't know, what is it, 400 grand a week or whatever it is. They might as well just select him for that Premier League team in January and see where they go. I don't know why I'm saying this. I really don't give a crap. But that's for me, that's the only way they can go forward, because 15th. That is mad. That reminds me of when we used to be 15th about 25 years ago. So the tables have turned. We are top of the league. And let's go on to Tottenham Hotspur and what a season so far they've had. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, telepathic play. Reminds me a lot of the season Andy Cole and Dwight York had at Man United. They just knew where they were, played off each other, scored the goals. And today was no different. Kane supplying Son with the first goal. And obviously Harry Kane capitalising on Arsenal's misfortune. They had a chance in the Spurs area. Aurier won the ball back, passed it through to Harry Kane, to Celso, sorry. And at that moment, Partey was limping off the pitch to the point where Arteta tried to push him back on to kind of stop. Poor guy. He literally took about 3 steps forward and then, forget it, I can't do this. And then Kane ended up scoring the goal. So there's signs of desperation there, trying to get back. But yeah, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, fantastic. I'm not going to say nothing yet. Dennis, what are your thoughts so far on these two this season?
This season, gosh, this goes back to when they started linking up. Like, I'm a big fan of Son. You know, Harry Kane is just seems to have gone up on another level, like showing a different side of his game that a lot of people didn't think he had. You know, because when you look at him, you're like, oh, he hasn't really got pace or whatever. But this is a guy whose football brain is incredible. You know, like he's both footed, and when you got runners around you, that telepathic between both of them is like, as soon as Kane has the ball, Son is off immediately. He's not even thinking about it. He's gone because he knows that the next person that ball's going to from Kane is to him. And they have worked that to a T so well. I think they're almost about to break the record for, you know,
team goals.
Team goals, yeah.
Was it Lampard and Drogba leading?
Lampard and Drogba leading, yeah.
I was gonna say, because obviously Mourinho's in charge. I feel like Harry Kane's kind of adopted that kind of Drogba role, that whole hold up play, pass it to the people around him. Like, am I right? Or...
Yep. You are, and that's like I said, that's the Jose Mourinho style of, you know, once he gets those kind of he molds his teams that way. He tried it with Manchester United, but you know you saw whatever problems they had there. But you can see
Diego
how
Milito,
they're doing it.
Diego Milito at Inter.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You can see the pattern, and that's exactly what he's trying to recreate at Spurs, and he's got the players to do it, and that's why you can see now he's had a whole season with them, and the second season you're seeing them actually challenge for the title. So yeah, Harry Kane and Son, Heung-min Son as well. He's just a brilliant player. He is just a brilliant player. Like, I'd say this all the time, people laugh. He reminds me of like Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, I'm not saying he's as good as him, but you get that feeling with him. Like, once he gets going, very direct. You know, both-footed as well. You can go left, you can go right. He's a fox in the box. He can shoot from outside from 25, 30 yards. Like, and he's got speed. What else? Like, what don't you want in a player? And you've got that. Plus, he works hard. Another thing that ticks Mourinho's box, you know, that keeps him happy. You know, you've got that. Someone that's got all that ability and be able to do that dirty work as well. Like, it's both of those players are excellent players, and Spurs are, you know, very, very lucky to have them.
It's obviously benefited that the fact that they've played together for so many years now. And it just seems to be ticking. I mean, they're both at their prime, let's be fair.
Yeah. How old is Son now?
26, I believe.
26?
He's young.
I think so. Google it. Someone Google it. But yeah, they're both in their prime, and it's clear to see how good they're doing. I mean, like, it's mad the amount of, I think between them they've been involved in 31 goals this season. That's just ridiculous considering we just got into December. Stuart, I mean, like Dennis just mentioned there, Harry Kane's role has definitely changed at Spurs. He's always been a confident kind of player, he really seems like lean this year. He seems fit. His shooting has been on point. His passing has been amazing. I mean, he's always been good at passing. Like, I've always seen that. But this year, he's just, in particular, just taken that onto another level. I suppose really, really serious title contenders this year, or is it just another threat from the North London team, and nothing will happen at the end of the season?
I think it depends. If Kane can stay fit this whole season, then yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think Tottenham's going to be a contender for the title. But obviously, Kane always has those those blips, not blips in form, but where he gets injured for 2 months and he's out, like last season, not last season, I think 2019, where he was out for a couple of months, and that really hurt Spurs, and that's where they had to rely on Lucas Moura. But this year, Kane looks like a lean machine, as you said. The first game where I really noticed that Son and Kane partnership was against Southampton, when you guys were losing, and then Southampton, I think they were playing a ridiculously high line, and Son and Kane were on a different telepathic level, and they both knew their movement, and that's just evident to see in today's game. And also, what struck out is Spurs' counter-attacking ability. Just the second goal, you had 4 against 2 at one point. That was mad. Again, that telepathic understanding in terms of knowing where Kane is for Son, and Son knowing where Kane is for that goal, it's incredible. I think it boils down to the question is, can Spurs keep both of those players fit? And if they can, then top 4 is probably, don't want to jinx it, but it looks pretty solid, the top 4 finish.
I think that second goal also demonstrated the confidence that the attacking players had in the defence. Because if you look at the wide angle shot they had of the counter, when Arsenal were in the area, they had their opportunity at that point. Aurier won the ball. There's 4 Spurs players literally next to the Arsenal defenders up on the other side of the pitch. And I think to have that confidence in staying up there, waiting for that possible through ball that they might get, shows how much how the mentality has changed at Tottenham. And I think a big part of why they've been doing so well this season is the players are really outperforming their expectations. I mean, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg has just been fantastic. The way he's commanded that midfield. I mean, obviously Kane and Son are a huge part of why Spurs are doing so well, scoring goals. That's their job, that's what they do. But the way Højbjerg has held down that defence has just been amazing. He is so cool under pressure. Sometimes he'll win the ball, right? Like a ghost. Like the player will be running with the ball, and he'll ghost in between the ball and the player and not touch either one of them, and then have possession of the ball and run away. He does it so well sometimes that he'll go between the ball and the player and end up the other side and have to go back again to try and win the ball, because he's just slipping in and out of these attackers, and his long ball play is so well, and he keeps possession really well, and he's just made a massive difference to the Spurs team. Now, I wrote down a few players who I thought have been, it's the majority of the team, but like looking at players like Hugo Lloris. I don't know about you guys, but I think Hugo Lloris is in the top 3 goalkeepers of the league, if not the best this season. Sergei Reguilón, the left back, top three in the league this season, has to be. Højbjerg, probably the best holding midfielder in the Premier League this season so far. Harry Kane, striker. Son, winger. We got Toby Alderweireld, top 3 defender, centre back in the league. Like, all this is working in Spurs' favour now. The one, me being a Spurs fan, obviously being pessimistic and kind of not wanting to kind of get carried away, but it's going to be a lot of pressure on Tottenham, don't you think, Dennis? If we end up being top at Christmas, people tend to use that as some sort of guide to how successful a team might be at the end of the year. If I'm not wrong, I think 19 out of the last 21 years, the team that has finished top of the league at Christmas ends up winning the league. Do you think Spurs under Mourinho have the mentality to hold out and stay top of the league until May, or is Champions League top 4 really the realistic end of season target for Spurs?
I think given Spurs' history in their past, it would be disguised as a top 4 finish would be great. Well, I mean that would be the goal. Mourinho would disguise it as that, but behind the scenes, I know Mourinho is saying, we're going for this title. We are going for the title. And you can tell with the players that has come in, like you mentioned, Højbjerg, he's brought in, leaders. You can, like, Højbjerg is basically Mourinho on the pitch. Like, that's his guy who relays the information to the other teammates on the pitch. Like, with the attackers they got, I feel like even Bell, they're kind of easing them in. They're not really. He's going to be more important in the second half of the season, which is why Mourinho's not using him as much right now. So it's Bergwijn that's the guy. When it gets to the later part of the season, you need that experience, and that's when you might see someone like a Gareth Bale come in. So it's a good tactic that he's using to try and go for the league. Would they win the league? Again, it begs the question: do they have the mentality? But what I do know is Mourinho will be instilling that winning mentality in that team. Because if you look at the teams they played so far, they beat Manchester City. They didn't lose to us. They trashed Manchester United. They, those are the games where he's always used that style of don't lose to these teams. Let's batter the rest. And if we come into this team, we either win or don't lose at all. That's it. We win or we don't lose. And you can see the pattern, and that's what's happening. I'm not sure, have they played Liverpool yet?
That's coming up very soon.
That's coming up. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
That's the one, yeah.
That's the one that you can see, okay, are Spurs serious or not? But so far, they're proving that they're serious. Again, it's still early doors, but they are showing the signs of a team that is ready to challenge for the title.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think Spurs looking very strong. Jose Mourinho has been a massive influence in the team, and it would be nice to see Tottenham lift the Premier League one day. But
no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't. The end of it.
Eh?
Yeah.
You want to hear the end of it?
Oh no!
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah. Say again.
No.
Just like Liverpool fans, you want to hear the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I disagree. I disagree with your top three centre backs though.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. But
trying to slide that in there.
Alderweireld, bro, he's been top three. He's top three, man. Trust me. This season, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, he has been outstanding.
And given our tactics, like the way we're playing, the centre backs, defenders have to be on point. They need to have that concentration. And we're not just winning games from defending well, but we're winning games and getting clean sheets. And that's something that Spurs had to improve on. Pochettino was fantastic at the attacking football side of things, but sometimes the defence, although saying that we had the best defence in 2016-17, but after that the defence kind of started leaking goals. Hugo Lloris as well, I think, has made a massive change to the way he plays in goal. Under Poch, he was very much expected to play with the ball, run out as fast as he can, and that caused a lot of problems. He would be caught out, and I think red carded under Pochettino as well. But at the moment, he barely comes out of his area. He's been solid. Lacazette had a very good chance of his head from a free kick from Saka. He did very well to deal with that. He's been absolutely superb. And I think against Chelsea as well, against Chelsea, the one real chance Chelsea had, and he was on point to kind of save it, bottom left-hand corner, despite the fact he had nothing to do most of the game. But yeah, I mean, Tottenham look fantastic. Arsenal going completely the opposite way. Any danger of them getting relegated, boys?
I don't think it'll happen. No. I don't think it'll happen. It'll be jokes.
Huh?
It'll be jokes, but I don't think it'll happen.
It'll be jokes. But seriously though, just finishing off the review of this game, just Arsenal one more time. How long do you think Arteta's got left? Because this is like a
Christmas time.
You think he'll last till Christmas? I mean, what is it now? 6 defeats?
Yeah, I don't know how many defeats, but it's quite a few already. But I think it comes to I don't think they'll let. I don't know. Has he been involved in the transfer market as much as his predecessors? because that might dictate if he's allowed to, spend money in January. And it depends if the board have faith in Arteta to, spend wisely. So I don't think there's going to be much money in the pot for Arteta, anyways. But yeah, I think they might let Arteta stay and get his signings in. Perhaps he'll say that, oh, listen, to start my signature into this team, I need to buy my own players, and that's why I think he might stay past them. But what are the next fixtures? I don't know. Are they winnable game?
I haven't checked. Thank you for that. I haven't checked. But it doesn't matter, does it though? Because any team they play, you just don't know how well they're going to do.
Yeah. What I'd say is, once Wenger left and they brought in, what's his name? What's that guy's name? What's the Spanish guy's name? Emery. Yeah, Unai Emery. Once he came in, I thought because of Arsenal, how long Wenger was there, they might give him, a chance. He didn't really last long. Arteta's coming now. He seems to be their guy that they want to build around. But again, football's all about results. If he loses 2 more games, that's, who knows? I think the board might panic and they might.
Arsenal, Arteta is very lucky that although they're 15th, the teams below them have done so much more worse that they're not in danger of going into the relegation zone in the next 2 games.
So Arsenal have Burnley next at home. They have to win that one. If they lose that, that's it. It's lights out for Arteta.
You think so?
Sorry, go on.
And after that one, they've got Southampton at home again. So those 2 games are crucial now. Southampton are doing quite well this season.
Ooh, yeah.
Burnley, they have to win that one.
Yeah.
Southampton, again, another must-win game. So those 2 games might kind of steady the ship if they win them, which they can. Because
Burnley beat Everton, right?
No, 1-1.
Oh, it was 1-0. Yeah. Like, Burnley are tough. So that's gonna be an interesting game.
And I expect Arsenal to win that one. Against Southampton, I'm not too sure. And after that, they have Everton away. That's a tricky game, Everton. So yeah, those 3 games.
The crossing tactic is going to be a bit tricky against Burnley though. I like it. And Southampton will do what Spurs did and just sit back and wait for the counter. I mean, they've been fantastic this season.
They like Shane Long running the channels. They've got Che Adams.
Well, Ward-Prowse and Walker Peters. I mean, Walker Peters has done so well this season. Me and my top 3. I think Walker Peters is in the top 3 right backs this year. I mean, he's been fantastic for Southampton. So yeah, I mean, Arsenal are in trouble, man. Like, to be honest, they're in big trouble. But yeah, good. So Spurs 2-0 against Arsenal. Arsenal have failed to beat Tottenham at White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for 6 years now. So long may that continue.
Wow.
Yeah, say la vie. And if Spurs end up with the Premier League in May, I will get a tattoo of the Spurs crest on my arse and show everyone on the video.
No way. Nobody's trying to see that, man. Good thing it ain't gonna happen.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, thank you for that. Now, one other piece of news that unfortunately happened in the last 10 days now was unfortunate news of Diego Maradona and his passing in Buenos Aires. He passed away in his house, died of a heart attack. Obviously, we know that Maradona has had many health problems. Only recently, at the start of November, he had an operation on his brain surgery. He was recovering from that, and while at home, he unfortunately passed away. And for me personally, Maradona is probably the greatest football player of all time. The way he used to play football with a smile on his face, despite the way that football used to be played back in the day, getting kicked about all over the place. He loved the game. You can see it in the videos when you watch of him playing. You can see it in the photographs of him, the fact that he was always determined. He always looked like he was exhausted from playing the game, but just happy to have done it. Obviously, that left foot was like a little wand. That goal against England in 1986, voted the best goal of the century by FIFA. I have to agree, that goal was amazing, given the circumstances, the terrain, and the heat of the Azteca Stadium. All of these factors, for me, make it definitely one of the the best goal of last century. My dad was a huge fan of Maradona. He's the one who kind of showed me what he could do. And the first time I ever kind of took notice of him really was during that Italian 90 World Cup. He's such a great footballer. Guys, what would you make of Maradona? I'll start with you, Stuart. One of South America's finest footballers, one of the world's greatest ever players. I mean, what else can be said about Maradona?
Yeah, I mean, I only started watching football in 1990. I remember 1995, 96. So Maradona came way before me. But yeah, I've seen clips of Maradona playing in his heyday for Napoli, for Argentina. It was a phenomenon. It was like that ball just would not be stuck to his feet. I know it's comparing to
like a glue.
Like glue, yeah, exactly. But from my perspective, growing up, I kind of always remembered Maradona from his out of football activity. So that sometimes kind of like gets in the way of what his football was like. But yeah, he was just an icon in South America, and it's the way he kind of lived the game. Once he retired, he was so passionate and he definitely lived for the moment when it came to football. And you can see him. He had his own kind of box in the Bombonera, and you'll see him there the games every weekend. He just lived and breathed football. And it's a shame that we're not going to have him around anymore. And he died at such a young age as well. He's only 60 years old.
Yeah,
that's the thing as well. I mean, obviously we all know he's had health problems, but it's so sad that he passed away at a young age. To be honest, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And it's a shame you never had that success as a manager, the same success he had as a footballer. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it's just. I mean, I wish I'd been around to watch Maradona playing, because I mean that's a bold statement he made to say that he was the best. You think he's the best player of all time. I didn't see enough of him to be able to say that. For me, it's always going to be Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo. But yeah, Maradona's you can't take anything away from him.
Dennis, your thoughts on Maradona? I know you're a big fan of Italian football, and obviously he was an absolute god for Napoli. Taking them to places that they never knew they could get to. They've now announced that the stadium has now been renamed Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Your thoughts, Dennis, on the great man, the great footballer that was Maradona?
Rightfully so. Again, like Stuart, it was a bit before my time, but I did see, him play a few times. I mean, it was especially what he did to Nigeria, knocking us out. So it was painful. It was painful, but you saw the quality. Not only the quality in his play, the passion in his play. Like, he lived and breathed football. You see. I don't think you see players like that anymore. Where they just muddy, but still be able to pull off all the type of skills he was doing. Somebody that would get kicked from start to finish.
Ronaldinho,
and it doesn't affect you. To me, that's again Ronaldo and Ronaldinho. To me, are like the greatest I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? To say who's been the greatest, I can't say it's because obviously I didn't see Maradona enough, but I would not argue the fact if people say Maradona is the best. And when you watch all the clips that you've seen of him, you understand that he took Napoli to the title. He took Argentina to the title. Single-handedly dragged Argentina to the World Cup. His legacy is, he solidified it. And you saw the passion, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch, just his antics. It made him such a character. You don't really see that kind of character in football these days, like the funny clips, the little things that happen, but people like worship him so much where there's even like a church, in I think it's Argentina. Who does what other player do you know would have like a church built for him? That's just to show the impact he had on the whole of Argentina, not only just the whole of Argentina, the whole world. that he definitely will be sorely missed, and that's a player who I don't think we'll ever see. I mean, Lionel Messi was probably the closest thing people can say that was close to kind of Maradona. You know, diminutive, left-footed, you know, amazing player as well. But again, I don't think he will ever. You know, he would never. He's not Maradona. He would never be Maradona. Like Maradona, there's only he was one of a kind, and definitely will be sorely missed. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Unfortunate loss to the footballing world. Diego Maradona, 60 years old. He will be sorely missed. And the scenes from the when they let him to rest, and then when they took him to for his funeral, it was amazing the sight to see how many people actually turned out, given the circumstances as well with the whole situation with COVID. But yeah, it was amazing, and the reaction of some of the people, like see people like him just completely distraught, trying to grab get on the coffin, and things like that. It's crazy the impact that he had on many people. Listen, thank you guys for joining me for another week of fantastic football talk. Great result today. I'm very happy. I'm gonna have to have a beer now. Maybe get some wings. Fuck knows. But I'm in a good mood. Guys, thank you for joining me. And as always, if you have watched the video or listened to the podcast, please like, subscribe, and join in the conversation. And show your support by visiting the website at SoccerSanchez.com. We'll be back soon again. Thank you guys, as always. And adios. It's been emotional. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Anytime.